In 1985, Pastor Anthony began his missionary adventures. Whether sharing Jesus among cannibals in Papua New Guinea or remote regions of tribal Pakistan, the results were always the same. Thousands would come to Christ, witnessing his signs and wonders.
In 1991, alongside Madeline, they immersed themselves in pioneering gospel movements in post-Soviet states like Kazakhstan, Siberia, Eastern Europe, and the Baltics.
Then, in 1997, Anthony and Madeleine Greco received a call from God saying, "I will continue to bless your evangelistic office. However, I am building my church." Pastors Anthony and Madeleine knew that they were called to start a church in Calgary, Alberta, the city they had just relocated to.
With no previous experience in church planting, no support, no equipment, and no building, they heard God confirm his word saying, "Start. You already have everything you need." So, in 1999, Calgary Life Church began.
We began as a Bible study in their living room. Our first public service was in the basement of a local hotel.
We began to rapidly outgrow the meeting rooms and had to move from the Radisson Hotel to the Polish Canadian Center. And then, after 2 years, we moved to the Dreamplex Theaters.
I3 meetings, I called them because I thought it just sounded cool. I3, iPod, iTunes, and iBook, and I think this was good. So,
God spoke another word, saying, "Whatever building you have, I will fill it."
As we continued to look for a permanent place to call home, we grew rapidly in the Dreamplex Theater, moving to 2 services and seeing people encounter Jesus every week.
Then, in 2008, amidst the global economic crisis, we were told we would have a few months left in our building. Our lease was now month to month, and once again, God gave us a word. Using Acts 28:30, God promised 2 more years in the Dreamplex.
In 2010, our time at the Dreamplex had ended, and we had just 90 days to reimagine our Sunday services.
We began to set up and tear down every Sunday morning at the Sunridge Cineplex Theater in the Northeast.
With a dedicated group of volunteers, we would start setting up as early as 5 a.m., bringing 2 trailers filled with equipment to the theater, transforming movie theaters into church auditoriums, party rooms into Sunday school, and then pack everything up and leave before 12:30 p.m.
Regardless of how it looked, the mission was still the same: seeing lives transformed by the power of Jesus and his gospel.
While we still saw thousands of people impacted by Calgary Life Church, we longed for a home, somewhere we could be a permanent fixture in a community.
For years, our search for a permanent home showed no progress. Looking at dozens of buildings and placing 15 offers, we were empty-handed. But Jesus remained faithful. And once again, God gave us a word. Mark 5, verse 21. Now, when Jesus had crossed over again by boat to the other side, a great multitude gathered to him. We knew God was calling us to the other side of the bow, the southeast of Calgary.
Then, in 2015, we purchased and began to renovate the building we now have. An old heavy machinery mechanic garage transformed into a church. After almost 2 years of renovations, we began to hold services here, and our first Sunday was November 6th, 2016.
And from there, we expanded greatly and began to reach those in the community around us and impact the southeast of Calgary.
Then, in our 20th year, the pandemic hit.
And during a time where churches were closing and failing, we had a different experience. We grew during the pandemic. Jesus was faithful to his church, and through him, we reached new heights.
In a period of time of instability, Jesus confirmed his word, and we have seen more growth in this season than at any other time in our history.
Jesus said, "I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail."
Calgary Life Church started 25 years ago with a word from God and a simple obedience from pastors Anthony and Madeline.
With just a word from God, all things are possible. You and I are a part of something bigger than ourselves.
The church is not a building. You are Calgary Life Church. We have something our city needs, the message of hope found in Jesus.
There are over 1.5 million people in Calgary. The job's not done. There are lost people who need to be found.
Broken families to be restored.
Bodies to be healed.
Lives to be transformed. The Great Commission is to go out in all the world and make disciples.
What are we waiting for?
Go.
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 God has already given us all that we need.